The market town of Romsey near Southampton has a rich social history, and throughout the last 50 or so years the town has evolved. So also have the habits and needs of its many residents and visitors. And this has been reflected in the location and size of its car parks. And so I met with a member of the Romsey History Society to find out how our need to park our cars has changed the town. Parking our car is one of those everyday tasks that many of us take for granted, and as we deposit coins into the meter, do we ever stop to ponder what might have been there before? Well, for the Romsey History Society, the story of the town's car parks is also linked to social changes in the town.
Each of the car parks in the town has its own history, and I thought it would make quite a nice themed series of articles if I wrote about 10 of them. If we look at the one behind the post office, we know that in the Middle Ages that belonged to the Manor of South Wells, and which Richard III had given to the Chapel Royal at Windsor. Then a man called John Osborne built a house there and ran a very successful private school. The county council took the school over and used it as additional classrooms until they sorted out education in Romsey in 1956. And at that point the building became derelict. Here, for example, we have a picture of the local children celebrating VE Day in the grounds of Osborne House. Then, when Osborne House was knocked down, they set up a car park that was accessed from Church Street.
Parking in the town hasn't always been so straightforward, and the occasional dispute over charges has arisen.
The one immediately south of the 100 that you come into off Broadwater Road originally was known as Perroton, which is pear orchard, and then where Boots the chemist is on the 100, it belonged to them, and it was owned by a seed merchant, and he used it as a nursery garden. And then they built a large bus station because the buses all parked in the marketplace before that. The car parking charges they were going to charge for the buses was more than the bus companies were prepared to pay. So for the next 18 months, they went on parking in the marketplace. And in the end, the dispute went up to London, to the Ministry of Transport, who banged heads together and sorted them out.
So how have the needs of the town changed in the last 50 years, and how has this been reflected in the parking situation?
Certainly the whole emphasis of retail shopping has changed. Nowadays, the big supermarkets do deliver, but for a number of years they didn't. So if you want to do your big shopping, if you had a car, you took it to the supermarket and you wanted to park nearby, so you could just put the stuff in the boot. We're very lucky here in Romsey. We've got a range of small and idiosyncratic shops, which are great fun to patronise, together with lots of places where you can eat and drink. Then you see, more recently, Armour Road car park was created. It was contaminated land because near Love Lane, which is to the south of it, you have the gasworks, and the effluent from gasworks contaminates the land. So instead of decontaminating it, they said, well, we'll have a car park here. Half the area was owned by the county council already. For example, all the road signs in Hampshire were made there for a number of years, but those commercial uses have gone and it's now a proper car park.
This is Richard Stringer for That's TV.